Welcome to this week's episode of the Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Shepherd.
And I'm your co-host, Kari.
And we are a husband and wife team that every week get together and record our thoughts and some thoughts of others.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we're coming at you, and we've actually got a very exciting subject that we're going to be dealing with. But before we get to that, last week, Kara, we did a podcast on fall prep.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome. We got a lot of great emails, a lot of great feedback.
Yeah. I got some good feedback too.
You have not seen all the ones that I got, or I was able to read and write down some stuff. So you don't know what I'm about to say.
Oh,
Don't
no.
look.
This
Don't
is
look at my
becoming a
notes.
problem where we don't share. We're so busy. We're not sharing with each other what's coming in.
We'll do a podcast on that soon. Sharing thoughts with husbands and wives.
Communicating just your basic life.
But life gets so crazy.
Oh, my word.
How do we?
Well, it's like
How
the
can
list
we?
of stuff I need to tell you. I have to start at the most important and go to the least important. So sometimes like praise for our podcast doesn't fall at number 2 or 3.
The cool thing, the funny thing is too, probably those of you who are listening, you go through this as well. I love when I get home and you are like kind of this giddy, like, I have something I've got to tell you.
Drama.
When you say that, I know, ooh, this
like,
is going to
okay.
be so good. I have something to tell you. I'm like, all right, give me all the juicy details.
You do love that.
I
You
do.
love a good drama.
Oh, man. As long as it doesn't have anything to do with the ministry or like negativity.
As long as it has to be far away enough removed
Yes.
from impacting us negatively. It has to be like, no way, but oh well.
Right. Like, oh, my word.
that's
And don't
funny.
judge us. We know y'all love gossip as well and getting
No,
together.
it's not that we love gossip. It's just like you, once in a while, you just need to be shocked out of your normal life.
And there are some things that have shocked us lately.
Oh, now we're at the point where it's like, okay, please stop. Please don't let anything
No
be shocking.
Right. Tell me something good. Feed me some good. But
Yes.
anyways,
That
we
goes
did-
along with our topic.
Yeah, it does. We'll jump into that in a second. But we did get some pretty cool feedback. So
Mhm.
some of the feedback we got, which I just want to ask you about, we had one writer write in that said, looking at fall, crock pots are like her go-to in the busy sports season.
Yeah.
Are you the same?
Yeah. I love a good crock pot meal.
Okay, cool.
That's, I mean, I don't know.
Crock pot.
Crack pot. Crack pots for the crock
Okay,
pots.
well.
I think I just started a new podcast.
Yeah, no, I'd probably do better than this one.
No, yeah, that's a great idea for
Yeah.
preparation for sure.
Yeah,
I
just
know a
thinking
lot of
ahead.
people, I was just more like medium on that because I know a lot of people that don't like crock pot meals a lot, but I think it's kind of a Midwest thing. I
Oh,
think
for
it's
sure.
more like,
Especially when it gets cold out. I
Yeah.
love when you put stuff in.
Yeah.
A roast on Sundays, and
yep.
it's really, you're a good cook that way. I
Thank
feel
you.
like really good.
I love a good, like, throw it all in one pot or pan and you're done.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
that is.
Yeah,
Somebody
that's
else wrote in and asked, Carrie, how much earlier do you get up than your kids on school days?
They wake me up, so
I thought I would just
Mom,
go
we
ahead
have
and
to
throw
go to
this one out
school.
there.
Yeah, thanks.
It was written in by 2 of your type A friends.
It was written in by our kids.
Tommy's like, let's get
Mom.
them.
No, I get up about 15 minutes before the kids. Not that much longer, because we are at a stage now where some of them can do their own hair. I mean, they can do a lot
it's true.
themselves. So I'm basically just directing. So I don't feel like I need a ton of prep time.
Right,
And
right.
with you guys, all getting out of the house, I have a little bit before I have to leave for work. So I'm able to do my quiet time and my workout after you guys head. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to get up super early before everybody else. It's just, I don't know what I would do. I would just walk around the house. Like,
Now, let me ask you. So, you work part-time.
mhm.
You are a mom, 5 kids, a wife, a pastor's wife. You counsel several times a week. What does a typical You hate when a frog gets in somebody's throat, so I knew it's coming.
I knew.
I just might as well go ahead and clear it. What does a typical morning for you look like after? Because you get all the kids ready, I'm
Mhm.
getting ready. Generally, I cook breakfast,
Mhm.
and then we do great on teamwork. I feel like we
Oh
just
yeah, our
kind of
mornings are easier
yeah.
now.
Then we jump in the car, and I bring the kids. I go to work, and they go to school. So, what does a morning kind of look like for you after
Mhm.
we head out?
Oh, it is wonderful.
Now, tell me about it.
It's a great time. Um, no, it is good. I come right in and finish cleaning up from breakfast, um, light my candles, get it smelling nice in here, nice and fallish. Um,
You do have some good ones here
I
lately.
do
I don't know
like
what's
my
burning tonight, but I'm telling
candles.
you what, it
Hobby
is
Lobby. It's like
smelling good.
mint pine or something. I don't know.
That's really good.
But yeah, I light my candles and I have my little spot. Actually, it's right. I can't point correctly. Right there on the couch. Um, I turn on my beautiful background on our frame TV. Usually goes with the season, and I do my quiet time right there. Spend some time talking with the Lord. I set my timers. This is new because I'm an avid reader, and so I will spend all my time reading and no time in meditation or prayer because I prefer to read rather than to force myself to be still because I don't like to be still. So I have to set my timer for reading. So I'll read like a devotional book, the Bible, and then when my timer goes off, then I set my timer for meditation. This does not sound relaxing, but it's just the way I have to do it for me.
Sure.
I'm not
That's
saying
good.
everybody else does. But it's helpful for me to stay on track. So I do that. And then if I feel fed in my soul, then I will allow myself some reading, like a fiction book
Right,
or
right.
a self-help or something like that, finance book, whatever. And after that, I work out. Then I just shower and get my makeup on and head to work.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a lot
I
packed
make
in
my
there. And
protein water on the way out
yeah,
with my collagen.
it's working, baby. You look good. Get that collagen rolling.
So yeah, I mean, it's not anything fancy, but it works and it
No,
gets
yeah,
me like, physically and mentally prepared for the day, and I feel good most times, most days.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
I know we never know this part about each other's lives. Like
No,
once you
no.
leave, what do you do with the
Yeah.
rest? I don't even see you till
Like, hey, we're home.
yeah, the
It's crazy.
evening.
That's so true. We'll have to do another episode on just ministry life, and maybe I could run through my calendar. There's a lot of there's actually some really good books out there on people who are in ministry and setting times and days. And
Yeah.
I set mine up probably, man, I don't even know, 2010, so that was 14 years ago. I remember reading through a book, and it was a pastor who set his week in motion. Here's what I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I kind of outlined his,
Mm-hmm.
not stole his, but just copied his. And I've been pretty similar since.
Yeah.
Everything is adjusted. It's ministry. You deal with
Right.
people all the time. But I do have a lot of routine as well. That
Yeah.
might be something, another episode, maybe just for ministry people if they want to tune in.
Yeah.
So,
It's really changed. I'm super flexible. If somebody says, "Hey, can you meet for coffee on, a day or
yeah.
whatever?" then I will.
You've been walking a lot with church ladies
I
as
do like
well.
to walk with people if we can squeeze that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's flexible though. I mean, the Lord knows my heart. Like I want to do amazing things, but I also just some days just want to enjoy life, and I
that's
don't
right.
want to conquer the whole world in one day and get all the protein in. So it's really based on my mood for the day.
Tell everybody listening when you ask, what do you want to do today? What do I say every time?
Try to take over the world. Something.
What we do every day,
Yeah.
Care.
Try
Try
to
to
take
take
over.
over the world.
And because I grew up without a TV half of my life and lived in the cornfields of Ohio, I don't know a lot. He'll say, like, do you know this song? Do you remember that song from our childhood? And I'm like, no. If the Gaither Vocal Band didn't sing it in Louisville, Kentucky, I don't know it.
No, you do know some PBS channel stuff. Arthur, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Now, yes. But again,
Ghost Rider.
I probably, nope, don't know that.
Oh, really?
No. Have no idea what that is.
Ghost Rider.
Is it a cartoon?
No, it was an actual show.
Don't know
it was
it.
a good PBS show. It was back in the day, though.
I was so sheltered. So I don't know a lot of these. Old people will get all
Okay.
sentimental about the past, and I'm like just smiling awkwardly, like, "Have you ever played in a cornfield?" It's really fun.
You poor girl.
Poor me.
Oh my word. Here's what we'll do. The first person to text, write, call, or email into the Ford podcast and can name the show that what we do every day, I won't say the name, try to take over the world, we will send a $5 Starbucks card to. How about that?
I'm
We'll
Googling
see.
it right
We'll
now.
see the first one because this will hit next Monday at midnight. So we'll see
Yeah.
who's listening, who's gonna
Sunday
write
at
in.
midnight.
And
Yeah, I still
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
Sunday
I
midnight,
don't know.
sorry.
Every time you say that, I'm like, oh, I think it's just. I thought it was from you for the longest
Oh,
time. I
how
just thought
sweet.
you thought of that.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. We'll soon find out.
Oh, that is great.
Awesome. Well, hey,
Yeah.
let's dive into tonight care. Really cool subject. I think it's a subject that kind of hits home just about for everybody, especially the world we live in. We're diving into a crazy political world. I mean, it's a mess right now. Everyone at work, we have a lot of people that work at home, people that go to work. The school is back in full time. And so the subject we'd like to talk about is overcoming toxic negativity.
Yeah.
And Carrie and I were discussing just kind of right before we started recording. And I said, Carrie, why don't you define this for us? Because I think it's important to know that for everybody, definitions might be slightly different, and or some people take it more serious than others, and situations come into play. But I kind of like to know your thought, Care. Like, if we're just going to define, people are tuning in to this podcast. How do we overcome toxic negativity? What is toxic negativity?
I think the important thing to remember is the word toxic. So negativity isn't always a bad thing, right? You can't have everyone running around earth and saying everything is great and wonderful all the time. Because I know, breathe in, babe. It's okay. You have two opposites right here. I'm not.
You're not negative.
I'm not negative. I'm a realist. That's my flowery word for it.
Then what am I?
You are so happy all the time.
Well, life is way too short to be down.
I know. Okay, so back on topic.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into that.
Go ahead.
But the word to remember is toxic. Like, negativity is important at times. And if you read the Bible, there were times when Jesus was negative. There were times when he called people out and he had strong words to say. And his preaching was not always positivity and light and love. It centered strongly in many passages on hell and on pharisaical attitudes and injustices. And it was very negative at times. And so negativity is necessary. But I think when it becomes toxic is the opposite. I think when negativity is toxic is when it's completely unnecessary. In a time when it's not needed, when it's not helpful to the situation, when it's not encouraging to others. Yes, there's a time to point out we're in a struggle, the ship's sinking, we need help. And there's times to express your negative thoughts and feelings, and you should. There are times and places for that. But when it's constant and when it's unprovoked and when it's unnecessary, I think negativity becomes toxic. And there's a lot of scripture to back up the fact that and we've spoken on this in previous podcasts before, but when you allow your mind to settle on negativity and to live in that lane, that's when that toxicity can physically harm you. It can physically attack your health, and it can attack your reasoning. And then eventually it really can almost become like a cancer where it just eats away at your life because you can't think in any other light but that one. Yeah.
I think when we talk about the word toxic as well, and you remember toxic anything, chemicals, it's very harmful, first of all. And number two, it always spreads. And I think when we're talking about negativity, it is harmful. It's, as Carrie said, it's harmful to your health. But it's harmful to others. It begins to affect you, your soul, who you are, your identity. And if you're not careful, that can begin to spread. It can spread through your school, your workplace, your ministry, even your church, if you're not careful, that toxic negativity is not always just kept to self, and well, it affects me, so who cares? Oftentimes that attitude and or that moodiness or that harmfulness can spread to others as well.
Absolutely. It's more catching than, the opposite. It's more catching than a
Yeah.
positive person. It's easier to drag people down. And so it is important to identify the
Mm,
times, that you're complaining or you have a word to say. Is this necessary? Is this helpful? Is this, pointing out something that needs attention, or is it just beating a dead horse, so to
right,
speak?
right.
So,
I do. I agree with that statement so much that, but I kind of wonder why, care. Like you said, negativity or a negative person could affect people more than a positive person. But I wonder why that is. Why do we grasp onto negative?
I
Why
don't know
is it that a
why.
negative person can draw a crowd around them? And
I think because it sets you like we were just this is funny because I said earlier, that's what we're talking about because we were just saying we love when we have drama to tell each other.
yeah, it's true.
Like,
It's
why
true.
is that? I honestly think in our human nature, it's because we set ourselves up in a place of judgment. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, good, someone's doing worse than me.
Right. Right.
We're our own worst critics at times. And so occasionally when you hear something negative about someone else, it almost gives you that lift like, "Oh, well, at least I'm not doing that bad,"
Right.
which
Right.
is just such a shallow and immature way for a grown adult to feel. But we're human and those
Yeah.
times do happen. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, the clickbait out there, it's all negative.
It is, and it's funny too because we live in such a ministry realm,
Mhm.
and I would say quite a few of our or most of our listeners are believers as well, and we can be drawn to that. Some of the biggest podcasts out there are the podcasts that call people out and they're
Mm.
doing wrong and look at them, and like you said, the clickbait. Man, everybody's like jump all over it. We talked several weeks ago. I don't want to talk about it again, but we talked about a blog that came out on Facebook, and I've never seen in my life so many people jumping on and it was all critical. It was critical of another man. It
Yeah.
was critical of his and his wife's music, and boy, we love it. We jumped on. We read the comments. It was this person versus this. And then there's a book out right now amongst a lot of pastors that everybody's jumping on, everybody's reading. Well, it's because it's a book that is calling out the bad things in different groups. And I think you're right that human nature is kind of drawn to that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody's getting called out. Oh, they're not doing right. Oh, they do something different than ministry, different than we do. And unfortunately, it's it's the podcast that are like, hey, we're just putting Bible verses up and we're talking about positive things. It does not get near as many clicks or hits
Mhm.
that if we called this podcast, we just put it out there and we said this is I don't even know a cool name, like somebody gets called out. We would triple the
Yeah,
amount of clicks that we would get,
that's
the amount
true.
of views, and people would watch it the whole entire show
Yeah.
just to find out who was it that got called
Yeah.
out. So we are
Yeah.
drawn towards that negativity, and again,
Mhm.
it can be very toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a real problem. And the problem with it is that humanity takes everything too far. So it's, some of that is just going to happen. I mean, even Jesus said, offenses will come, and
Hmm.
they're going to come. And there's no way around that. Like offenses are going to happen, negativity is going to happen. We're humans, but getting past it and balancing it in its proper form.
Right.
Even our Sunday school teacher this morning had some negative things to say about culture, but in that setting, it was appropriate. It
Hmm.
was okay. We're learning, we're diving into some history, we're diving into culture and kind of how to fight that and how to adjust to it and
Right.
keep our
Right.
heads during this time. So that's appropriate. It would be inappropriate then to stand around, after learning that and being encouraged at the end of how to stay, in line with the Lord and all that. I think it would go too far to stand around a group of people for the next 2 hours and
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
ruminate and dwell on how bad the world is.
Right.
I think it's too much,
Right. Right.
It's like, yes, in an appropriate level, but than to carry it so far to where we're all discouraged and upset.
Right,
And,
right.
just, oh, I don't like the viewpoint that when Christians are like, oh, I wish, the Lord would just come back right now. Like, yes, we should be waiting for his return, but to have the attitude of like, judge all these sinners and get this over with, I feel like that
Yeah,
crosses over into, okay, we've lost our heads.
right,
We're not
right.
accomplishing the mission.
Right. So true. Okay, so Kara, let's talk about it a little bit since the title is overcoming.
Hmm.
Now we know what it is. We kind of got a good definition, and we know that we're drawn towards the toxic side of it that spreads and is harmful to us. So let's talk a little bit about steps to overcoming it. Give us
Hmm.
one step, and then I'll give us a step as well.
I think self-awareness is just the biggest one. Like, listen to yourself speak.
That's
I
really
mean,
good. I
you
really
know,
like that.
yeah, when you're speaking with someone, before you say something, and that sounds simple, like think before you speak, but it really does go a long way. There's so many times when I'm the type of conversationalist that it's hard for me not to identify with everything
Hmm.
someone says and
Hmm.
jump in and give, a story of how I relate. But a lot of times I'll have to stop myself and say, that wouldn't really encourage them.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be, that might prove their point, but is it kind of a drag? So just self awareness, just good old fashioned being aware of what you're saying,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be said. It doesn't, not everything has to be said.
Oh,
Hold
but
it in.
yeah, then it's not fun.
I know. You're so drama.
No. Hey, here's a good one too. Recognizing and acknowledging negative patterns.
Mhm.
I think again, this goes right along with your self-awareness. But I think I really believe that if we could be conscious of trends that are in our life
Mhm.
that tend to lead towards this way. For instance, if your algorithm on social media is always pulling people that are negative, it's
Mhm.
time to change the trend. If it's
Yeah.
only, I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I can tell my algorithm sometimes gets on these guys that they're just divisive, calling everybody out. You didn't wear a tie in the pulpit, you don't wear a white shirt, you're this.
Mhm.
I have to be aware of that, and then I have to change it. I
Mhm.
need to do something different. And so again, if your trend is only being around social media that's negative, change that. If
Mhm.
the news you're watching is constantly just feeding your soul with
Mhm.
negativity, and it's just it's so toxic that you think the whole world is ending and everybody's lost and there's no hope for humanity, then it's time to change that. I think the same would be true, and this is a little bit harder, but we have to be careful even of our friends. I
Mhm.
spoke to our
Yeah.
school teachers here a day or two ago, and I just spoke on joy. The whole time I'm going into, we cannot have this negative mindset even here in the workplace. Like we
Yeah.
want joy, because it affects our job, it affects others around us, it
Mhm.
affects our ministry, it affects the next generation that's coming up behind us. And so, once again, recognize and acknowledge negative patterns that are in your life. And if they're there, here's what I would do: I'd start writing them down and start changing them. Don't turn on the news at night. If Facebook is just getting you that, once again, you're clicking on this and you're reading comments, they're going back and forth, and you're just giving all this absolute pathetic wasted time, myself included. I could say pathetic because I get drawn in as well. Then let's change that pattern. Let's
Mhm.
change that trend in our life.
Mhm.
And the same is true with friends. You and I have to take a stand at some point.
Yeah.
There are some people I talk to that I look them in the eyes and just say, you know what? You got to be a little bit more positive like
Mhm.
that. The glass can't always be half empty.
Yeah.
And I get Carrie's right. There are times we need to talk through the negative, and life is not always wonderful. But living at that mindset that it's negative, speak to that friend. I'm not the type
Mhm.
of person that just says you need to dump them and get away from them, and
No.
but just talk to them like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm trying to be more positive. Let's talk about something good. Let's talk
Mhm.
about fall weather, or good smelling candles, or I don't know, whatever's good out there. There's plenty out there, but I would recognize and acknowledge those negative patterns. What else, Care?
Yeah, that kind of bled right into what I was going to say is speak up and ask for accountability.
Mm,
If you feel like you're the negative person and you're always the one, and situate our conversations can kind of end awkwardly, and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, why don't people respond well to what I'm saying, or why are conversations difficult for me? Get a trusted friend and just ask for accountability and say, listen, I tend to be more on the negative side. That's just my personality, and it's okay. God
yeah.
makes us all differently, and that's just the way you see the world. But you do need someone for accountability that can help you to balance the way you see the world.
That's good.
Because again, humans like to take everything to the extreme. So ask a
Mm.
friend and say, if you hear me being negative, every time I end up in a negative conversation, then, I have to, whatever, do 10 push-ups or buy you a coffee or
Well,
something.
oh, I'm
That
loving
will
these.
fix you in about 2 times.
Do you want to do this?
Absolutely not.
Care. Come on, babe. Let's do it. Like,
If
y-
I'm being negative, you can buy me a coffee.
almost a deal. It must be late. Yeah, deal.
Done. It's over.
10 push-ups. You think you can do 10 push-ups?
Absolutely, I can do
Oh,
10
girl.
push-ups.
Atta
Can
girl.
you?
Absolutely not. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
I didn't say what kind of push-ups. They might be girl push-ups, but still,
No, I've seen you do push-ups. You
counts.
could do them great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
We're all proud. Hey, let me.
So positive of you.
I am.
You go
I'm
right back.
I compliment a lot.
You
I'm a
are
good.
the most positive person I have ever met. 100%.
Are you lying?
No,
Care.
I know that sounds negative, but it's really
Say it. Say it like you mean it. Say it
you're
again.
the most positive person I've ever met.
There you
I can't
go.
do it.
You're such a liar.
You really are.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Um.
Moving on.
What was I gonna
We're
say?
asking for accountability
Okay.
from people to be positive.
Yes. So I'm going to do these real quick, but I've
Okay.
got 3 here, and I really believe these are really good. But for those of you who are a believer, you're looking at toxic negativity and you're saying, okay, I really got to get some help. Well, I believe truly the best help you can get comes from the Word of God, comes from the Bible.
Yeah.
And there's 3 things here. Number 1, Proverbs 15:1 says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." I think you have to remember the importance of gentle answers.
Mhm.
It's so vitally important in the world that we live in that we don't get drawn into the same mud pit that everybody else is in. Make sure our mindset is different. Our mindset is not
Mhm.
braggart, or our mindset is not holier than thou. Ours is just truly a gentle answer, turning people away from, have you seen? Did you see it? Did you prep? Did you know? Hey, listen, here's what the Word of God says. Number 2, encourage positive speech.
Mhm.
I hear Carrie all the time with our kids. In fact, I have to tell a story.
Oh
But
no, I don't know what you're gonna say. So
yeah, it's a good one. Carrie is so good with our kids at always turning them to the positive. They complain about, I know we have some of our teachers that listen on here. So trust me, teachers, we always have your back,
Mhm.
always. But, they complain about a teacher and too much homework or this or that. And Carrie will always try to encourage, hey, listen, here's the positive side of this. Encouraging positive speech out of ourselves, but then also out of others. Carrie is such, and I mean this, she is such an awesome mom.
Mhm.
The other day we're on a walk and we start talking about it. She's like, oh, you kill me for saying this. So I'm saying,
Yes,
you
probably.
were like, she was so mad at herself for getting upset with the kids. And, if y'all could only see, like, when Carrie gets so worked up, like, I'm gonna lash out at these kids.
I
I have to bite
do.
my tongue. No, it
He
is.
never he's
Oh,
like,
it's
that wasn't even
it's
yelling. You don't even know what yelling
no.
is.
The day you actually yell at our kids, I'm be like, I am
You're gonna
so,
slow clap for
I am
me.
so. You go, girl. They've been needing this for
I was
14
pretty
years,
hard on
but
her for that one time.
oh my word.
I
Anyways,
was.
see, that's the positive side of you. Like,
Yeah,
I
I guess
think
I do have
Carrie,
a positive. It's a soft
yeah,
side.
I grew up in the South where, like, we knew, mom listens to this, so mom, I'm not busting on you, but we knew what yelling was. Like, for a parent to yell, I mean, you were scrubbing baseboards as fast as you could. You didn't look them in the eye. Someone
Oh
was
my.
getting just
The
in big
Southern mamas
trouble.
can get
Oh,
after it.
Southern mamas are scary mamas, let me tell you
Midwest
that.
moms listen with our hearts.
They do, and it
We
doesn't
do.
always work, but it is very peaceful. So I would say number 2, encourage positive speech. Then number 3, we've used Philippians 4:8 so many on this times on this podcast, but it's such a good one.
It
But
is.
focus on positive and praiseworthy things.
Yes.
If you're in a toxic environment at work, think on the positive. Like everybody has to work.
Mm-hmm.
You're receiving a paycheck. Um, praise the Lord, you have a job in this economy.
Mm.
Just think on the good things. I talk to people
Mm-hmm.
all the time that complain about their church or this or that, and I say, just praise the Lord. We live in a country where we're able to praise God and worship
Yeah.
Him and be in the Word of God. And so, once again, it's that personal attitude, that personal thought, but also focusing on the positive and praiseworthy things really will help you.
Yeah. And let me give you a very practical tip. This, specifically can go out to ladies just because we do struggle throughout our lifetime with a lot more hormonal, let's call it diversification than the
Oh,
gentlemen.
oh
We deal
my.
with a lot more, throughout our life. And so at times,
Everybody just turn their volume up a little
turn it
bit. They're
way up,
they're ready to
turn
hear
it
what you're
way
about
up.
to
But
say.
this can apply to men too, because some of y'all can be quite hormonal along with us. Won't be calling out any names, but I could.
Were you gonna say my name? You're so mean.
No, you're the most positive person I've ever that is true. Anyway, but I know I'm just speaking, from mostly a woman's perspective.
No, go for it.
Um,
I'm all ears right here.
I have to remember what I was going to say now. Oh
Hormones.
yeah, find one person or an outlet. It doesn't even have to be a person. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's just speaking it out loud, praying, whatever. But find one person or one outlet that you can complain about small things to, and then be done. So, for instance, some people don't ever complain about small things. And I mean, like, actual props to you. You have all my respect. But most of us out there, if we had a bad day, if we had issues, like, those are our problems for the day, right? And I mean, it feels so silly because now that we've both traveled extensively, there, you come back from somewhere like Mexico, Honduras, Philippines, and you don't complain about small things for a very long time. You just don't, because it sets your perspective straight and you realize we are so spoiled and blessed in America. But in our day-to-day lives, there are just times when you have a bad day, and you're allowed to have a bad day. It's okay. But it is kind of over silly things. And so a lot of times I see people bottling all that up, and they're trying to be, always positive and always happy. But like that, you have to let some of that out. You cannot just only be positive all the time and never have a day where you just tell someone, I'm having a really hard day. So there is a balance there. But
That's good.
we don't want to be the people as children of God that go around and tell everyone, about, oh, I almost got in a wreck and someone cut me off and then they got my order wrong at Chick-fil-A. And, you don't want to be just constantly telling everyone, because you just look foolish and it's ungodly, really. So what's the balance there? How do you be human and have a bad day once in a while and get all that off your chest so it doesn't bottle up, but then balance that with not complaining all the time? And that's my answer. Find one person, one outlet. For us, it's each other. I feel like we can come home, close the door in our room, and we can vent to each other, for lack of a better term. But our kids don't need to hear it. Our families don't need to hear it. It's him and I, and we can do that. And of course, occasionally, if you're close to your mom or a sister or something like that, that's fine. And this is not salacious gossip or anything like that. This is just, the small everyday things in life.
Right.
And then let it go with that one person or that journal or that prayer time. Of course, prayer time would be ideal. But the Bible does say, bear ye one another's burdens. So you're allowed to share. just make sure, as a woman, I've come to that realization in life that I've tried both paths. I've been an open book, and that's
Mhm.
not godly. And then I've gone the other way where I've been a closed book, and I don't feel like that is safe for your mental health
That's
either.
good.
So find that balance where you're able to have an outlet, but it's someone who understands that you're not a complainer, you're not being negative, you're just kind of that human element uh, in their presence, and it's okay, and it's
Yeah.
kind of a safe
So
place.
that community support, Kara, let's talk about
Yes.
this for just a moment. Because I think this is, I really believe this is where a lot of people go wrong because and I'm not saying you and I have the perfect balance, but let me say, first of all, Carrie and I this is not habitual for us. This is
Right.
not, we go in every day and we just share with each other. I think that is what would absolutely lead to a toxic environment. I'm going to
Yes.
complain about
Yes.
everybody at church and everybody that I work with.
No.
And um, this is every once in a while, Carrie and I finding the time on a talk or on a walk that we can
Mhm.
talk. And actually, I got really frustrated with one of our kids today, and here's what took place. Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to learn your spouse. I know Carrie well enough. She just needed to talk about it, and I don't say a word,
Mhm.
and we're fine, and we move on. And then
Mhm.
I know my wife well enough that she's asking for advice here, and I'm able to lean into it.
Mhm.
So I would say, don't make this a habitual thing. Don't make it a habit, because that's exactly the opposite of what we're talking about, trying to
Yeah.
get rid of in your house. Carrie, I love how you said talk to God. I think God
Mhm.
ought to be number one.
Yeah.
If we're not talking to God about our problems, we certainly should not be talking to other people about
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
But what would you say about those that maybe do live in a family? Or speaking to the women's side, I don't know if guys really deal with this as much, but those that do get in that mindset where they're okay, I have to have community. So every time I jump online, I'm sharing with all my girlfriends everything's wrong with my husband, or everything's wrong with our house, or the pastors' wives, or even pastors who can get on a Facebook private page and they're only just, it's outlet all the time. This what's wrong, this what's wrong, this what's wrong. How do we avoid something like that when
Yeah.
we're looking for community, and yet there are sometimes some families that get together, and I have 7 sisters, so I don't think this is happening, but, I'm not involved in it if they are, so, Tressa, Tamara, Teal, Talia, Tesla, and Talisa, Tara, I'm not accusing y'all here, but we definitely don't wanna get on groups where we're just, our outlet is each other, and all we're doing is complaining about our home life, our kids,
Yeah.
our spouse. I think that can be toxic as well. What's
Oh,
your thoughts?
and it so often is. I think it's more toxic than it's not. That's why, in my last point, I said one person.
Yeah, it's good.
One
I love
person.
that.
You don't need a whole group. You don't need a Facebook group. You don't need a girlfriend group. Like,
Yeah.
it's one person occasionally. And that's why I said you don't let it build up,
Right.
because that gives the impression of time.
Mm.
It's not a daily thing. Shouldn't even really be a weekly thing. Um, it definitely should be an occasional thing where when you feel in your spirit, I've had frustrations building up and I need to share this and get it off my chest. And that is a very common thing in our gender. And it's
Right, right.
okay. God made us to, you know, we are the communicators of
Mhm.
the genders. Like, that's our deal. That's our area of expertise. And so as a woman, when you totally clamp that off, that's not healthy. But it does need to be controlled.
Yes.
Yes, it should not be online. It should not be, a constant thing. Um, and I feel like too, it's always helpful to say, like, I know I'm just having a hard time, but this made me feel this way. You can tell me if that's dumb
Mm.
or not. Like, sometimes you can just qualify your complaining with
Right,
telling someone,
right.
I know I'm complaining and I'm having a hard week. And
That's I
you
love
can
that.
you can say
Absolutely.
that and just
Yeah,
have that understanding there.
yeah,
And I think that's important. Everything in balance,
yeah.
nothing in excess. And it definitely should be that self-control of, and I'll text you sometimes, I
Oh,
think I
yeah,
did last
we
week
do.
where I'm like, both my exits were closed coming home from work. I added, 20 minutes to my commute. I'm starving hungry. The kids are waiting on me. And I text him like a list of 5 things that were annoying me. And he just texts back like, LOL, sorry, babe. Stuff like that. It's okay.
Absolutely. I love that.
But then you're right to put
Right.
that complaining spirit on my family when I get home, or on my sister who lives nearby, or, all those things. It's just like, okay, it wasn't, you're not practicing gratefulness.
Yeah.
I think when we're grateful for our lives, okay, you can be frustrated in a moment, but when you view your life as a whole, if you're ungrateful, those frustrations will continue to build.
Yeah.
If you are grateful, they will diminish. Okay,
Yeah.
I had an extra long commute home from work, but you know what? I get to go pick up my kids from school.
Yeah.
I get to see my babies. They're healthy, they're strong. I get to take them home,
Right.
and those things dissipate so quickly.
That's so true.
They really do when you're
That's so
grateful.
true. I love that. I really believe, speaking into the ministry side, we'll probably have to finish up here, but for some reason, for a long time, we were taught in ministry that you just don't have bad days. You live in a glass house. Your kids are perfect. Your marriage is perfect, and no one, don't get counseling. No one needs counseling, and for some, I don't know why that foundation was given, but it's a very faulty foundation. And so, I would say if you are in ministry, pastor's wife, have someone that you can talk to. Have someone that, it's about a week and a half ago or so, Kari and I went through some pretty troubling things. Just a lot took place in our family all at once in a day or two. And I reached out to a friend, and I did. I got it off my chest. I was able to talk. This is not someone in our church necessarily. This is not even my spouse. This is just a man that can hold me accountable. I can bounce things off of. But then there are those times he's such a dear friend. He knows when I just need to vent. And if you're in ministry, don't fall for this. You can't have close friends and don't have anyone, even if they're in, I would say, if they're in your flock, great. Praise the Lord. Have that person that you are able to talk to, because I forgot how you said it, but you said you've tried both, spouting off a lot and then keeping it closed in. I forgot how you worded that, but that is true, Care. Like holding this stuff in actually is not healthy. It leads to stress, leads to a negative mindset because you can't release it. And ultimately, as the Bible puts it, the root of bitterness can come in and really can hurt you.
Yes, that's true. We see so many times in the Psalms where the writer, so many times David is pouring his heart out to God, and he says very strong things. He uses strong language, about wishing he could die and wishing the earth would cover him. And like he goes on pouring out his heart to God and complaints. But I think the key is there. He pours his heart out to God. And that's always, always, always number one. And it's so cliche, and I've heard it my whole life. Like, have you prayed about it yet? Did you talk to God? And, at some point, truly in Christianity, you get to the point where you're like, oh, but I think if you're feeling that way, it's because you haven't.
Right.
Because you know that when you do, it truly is the answer.
Yeah.
It truly is. But God is a God of understanding.
That's right.
He created us, and he understands we are dust.
Right.
He understands we're human. So it is okay to have a human connection when you're feeling down, when you're complaining, when you're having a hard time. It's okay to have that point of contact with another human being too. And so again, everything in balance, everything in moderation. Yes, you can have a bad day, but don't let it become toxic.
That's right. That's right. It's good. Well, hey, drop us an email, a text, or a message on any of our social media that we are on. We'd love to hear from you. Well, give us some tips, some things that have helped y'all as well. And truly, we've said this so many times now. We just want to be a blessing. We just want to be a help. And it's so awesome to see so many people each and every week that are tuning in. We hope that we're having an impact, a positive impact on your life. And anything else you want to say, Carol?
Just thanks for the ones that have written in. All the private messages we've received on Facebook and Instagram have been so encouraging, such a blessing. You guys are awesome.
Yes, we'll see you soon.